This tutorial video is designed to accompany the worksheet for lesson 11 of Learn Your Scales and Arpeggios for Saxophone, which you have downloaded from planzmusic.com. It is important that you follow all the instructions on this worksheet, as this video will not cover all that is required by itself. The first item on the worksheet is an explanation of some theoretical terms. It's very important to familiarise yourself with these terms, as they are used regularly by musicians and will continue to be referred to throughout this series of lessons. The 7 steps of every major or minor scale have specific labels. Some of them may seem rather silly, but the worksheet provides some explanation. We will take, for example, the scale of C major. The key note C is known as the tonic. It establishes the tonality, which is another name for the key. The second most important note in the scale is the 5th, in this case G, known as the dominant. If we play those 2 notes and the note which is midway between them, we have a kind of chord known as a tonic triad, the chord of C major. And the note in the middle, the 3rd step of the scale, is known as the mediant. It mediates the chord and the key. It determines whether it's a major key or a minor key. The note above the tonic is known as the note above the tonic, the supertonic, and the note below the dominant is known as the note below the dominant, the subdominant. So tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant. Let's leave out 6 for a moment. The 7th step of the scale is known as the leading note, because when we harmonise, when we compose chords, it leads onto the tonic. So that leaves the 6th step of the scale. If you remember, the 4th is the subdominant. Here is the subdominant triad. So the mediant in the subdominant triad is the 6th step of the scale, is known as the subdominant mediant. Except we don't call it that, we shorten it and we call it the submediant. Tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading note, tonic. You will also need to understand enharmonic equivalents. Notes have more than one name. For example, D sharp and E flat are written and named differently but sound the same. We say that they are enharmonically equivalent. The choice of name depends on the context, and there are strict rules as to which should apply. For example, the E flat in B flat major can't be called D sharp as there is already a D. We can't have 2 different types of D, but we must have some sort of E, as every scale has one and only one of each letter name. Lesson 11 presents one new scale, B minor, which is the relative minor of D major. It has a key signature of 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and the raised leading note is A sharp. A sharp is the enharmonic equivalent of B flat. The presence of A sharp can make this scale feel very wrong. You feel as though you are missing out A and playing 2 different sorts of B. Exercise 18 helps you get used to this. Here is the scale of B minor for 1 octave. And here's the arpeggio of B minor for 1 octave. Practice plan 11 requires you to work through exercise 18 and to drill 21 other items. Again, you should know most of this stuff very well, and it should only take a very few minutes to get through it all. Once you have completed lesson and practice plan 11, you have reached something of a landmark. Major and minor scales and their arpeggios up to 2 sharps and 2 flats.